NASCAR's latest Aero experiment flops. Can we finally accept that it may be time to up the horsepower? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Lots of news to get to, but first, one of the coolest parts of my job is exposing new sponsors to NASCAR. My friends at Toxic Waste Candy have supported my show for the past year, and now they're supporting my buddy Brennan Poole at Indianapolis later this month. Brennan, how's it going, dude? I hear you've got an awesome paint scheme to reveal today.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about this paint scheme. First of all, it's like every kid's dream to drive a car that looks like this, okay? It's sour candy, it's toxic waste. Dude, this is gonna be insane. Like, it's so bright. Wait till you guys see my suit, okay? I'm gonna stand out. I'm gonna be so easy to find at Indianapolis. It's gonna be nuts. So we're super stoked.
I love the green slime on the front. This thing, it looks radioactive. So mission accomplished.
Yeah, they have this one candy. It's called Smog Balls, okay? And it's given me some of that. I like the caution tape on it. It came out really, really, really great.
It looks awesome. Yeah, just don't be the caution at Indianapolis. That's the most important part. But Brennan, if I'm not mistaken, fans watching at home can be a part of this paint scheme. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're doing something similar to like what we did with the Out of the Groove car
That's right.
last year at Phoenix. So if you go to the Daily Downforce, you can order a diecast of this car, and the first 250 people that get a car are going to get their names on the trunk, just like we did. And
Nice.
so you can have your name on my race car again, and then you can come find me at a racetrack and I'll sign it for you and you can put it into your collection. Maybe you need a car that is toxic to be in your diecast collection. I don't know.
It
I know
stands out.
I do. I'm gonna get one, so I'm super excited. Have another diecast and such an awesome company. It's gonna be such a fun weekend.
It sounds like it. No, that's awesome. You guys are going to stand out. That car is going to pop. Yeah, like Brennan said, I'll put a link down in the description, but be sure to go pre-order the Toxic Waste diecast. First 250 to do so will get their name on the actual car and on the actual diecast, which is a fun perk as well. A cool surprise. Brennan, good luck. August 12th, Indianapolis road course. Always good to talk to you, and a great looking paint scheme. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Be sure to click that link down below to see how you can pre-order Brennan Poole's Toxic Waste diecast and potentially get your name on a real NASCAR stock car. From one awesome paint scheme to another, now this one I had nothing to do with, but I still support it wholeheartedly. Rocket League, the video game, will sponsor Tyler Reddick at Michigan this weekend. I used to be an avid Rocket League player, especially back when I was in college. I still think it's a fantastic game. It's still very relevant today. Rocket League and NASCAR have crossed paths before, but this is beautiful. This is spectacular. I love this. But moving on from paint schemes, we've actually got some really big news to talk about today. Yesterday, NASCAR tested an all-new, radically different front splitter. This new splitter is designed to create lift when the car is in clean air, but add downforce to a car that's in dirty air. The goal, of course, is to make it easier to pass on shorter ovals. NASCAR posted this image yesterday. On the left, you can see the new splitter they were testing. On the right, that is the splitter setup that is currently used on Sundays. They certainly look radically different by themselves, but even when they're on the cars look different. Check out this photo that Bob Pockrass tweeted yesterday. Oh my gosh, there is a ton of space between the front of the car and the ground. It's been 2 or 3 car generations since we've seen a space like that. So the differences between the current splitter and this new test splitter are obvious to the naked eye. But unfortunately, inside the car, it doesn't sound like the new splitter had the desired effect. William Byron, Christopher Bell, Noah Gregson, Justin Haley, Ryan Preece, and Harrison Burton participated in the test yesterday and today. We'll get to today's test in a moment. Ryan Preece said after yesterday, quote, "I couldn't tell much of a difference from my car yesterday to today. It's not what we were all hoping for. I didn't feel much of a difference." William Byron sounded pretty similar. Quote, "I don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully get some other ideas for tomorrow. I didn't think it was much different." Bell echoed similar thoughts. All the drivers said that the new splitter really didn't feel any different than what was run Sunday during the actual Cup race at Richmond. Dr. Eric Jacuzzi from NASCAR said yesterday that the on-track results did not match up to what NASCAR simulations and wind tunnel tests had previously shown. NASCAR apparently expected the drivers to battle a tight condition yesterday, and instead everyone was breaking loose. Jacuzzi said, quote, "We've got some discussions ongoing on what we could do tomorrow," now today, based off some of their feedback. A good direction. They had a lot of feedback on tires, so tomorrow, again today, we've got quite a bit going on. Hopefully that steers us in a good direction as well. Some good learnings today, for sure, but obviously we wanted a grand slam and didn't get that. No, at best yesterday was maybe a sacrifice bunt. Productive somewhat, sure, but nothing to get too excited about. Still just a lot of unfulfilled potential. Now, like I said, NASCAR and these teams are still testing today at Richmond, day 2, but today's itinerary primarily consists of tire testing, which is still very important, but not really related to that radical new splitter NASCAR was so excited about. That experiment, at least so far, appears to have failed, or at least not delivered the results NASCAR was hoping for. Now, NASCAR did say they would work on some aero changes today, namely, at some point today, drivers are expected to make a run on track with no diffuser, which could be very interesting. The spoiler will be slightly taller, it'll be a 4-inch tall spoiler. We'll see, we'll wait and hear what sort of differences those changes may or may not make. But the focus today is primarily tires. We'll get to that more in just a moment. It's important to note that this test at Richmond was originally scheduled for New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, but of course the test was postponed and then moved due to inclement weather. Christopher Bell noted yesterday that Richmond was probably not the best track for this test. He said, quote, "I definitely think for the Aero package it would have been better to go to a high grip track. Richmond is so slick that you are naturally going to get spread out. The tracks that we complain about the Aero package are the tracks that have high grip like Phoenix and Martinsville." Apparently, several drivers said the same thing. Dr. Eric Jacuzzi made a note of that and then said that testing will likely continue into the off-season. Jacuzzi said, quote, "I think we will probably end up testing in the off-season with all these parts, not just Aero, but some of the other stuff like shifting and different things we've talked about. I can definitely see that. We have to keep working on this. It's not going to fix itself. We have to keep going. But with the playoffs, we don't want to be in that zone, so it moves to the off-season." Oh, okay, let me just slow down for a moment. We're in year 2 of the next-gen car. I think most drivers and fans have noticed a clear improvement in the quality of racing on bigger intermediate tracks. It's been the short ovals, and to an extent the road courses, that have failed to deliver as much action as we all expect. We've been talking about this since last year. Drivers, fans are all wondering what can be done to these cars to bring Martinsville back, the good old bump and run Martinsville we all came to know and love for many, many years. Phoenix is the championship track, and the last few years of racing there have been lackluster, I'd say. Richmond this past weekend was a fantastic strategy race, but do you really want strategy racing at a short track, or would you prefer side-by-side rubbing fenders? NASCAR's continued to tinker and tweak on these cars to improve the short track and road course packages, but they still haven't found what I believe to be a winning combination. Denny Hamlin, always outspoken, we know that. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me react to Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin chimed in on Twitter, or X or whatever we're calling it now, with his take on this whole scenario. Hamlin said, 1, add 100 horsepower. Engine guy said we could do it quickly. 2, get rid of shifting. 3, make the tires wear out, not just lose grip because of heat. Aero just isn't likely the fix when we are at slower speeds like short tracks. Let's break down all 3 of Hamlin's points. Back in April, Doug Yates, CEO of, Roush Yates Engines, did say that we could increase the power from 670 to maybe 750 horsepower pretty easily, but that it would take some time to develop the correct parts so that the engines wouldn't wear out too quickly. He said back in April that it would be difficult to increase the horsepower even for 2024. We might have to look even further down the line, but increasing the horsepower is possible, according to Ford at least. And I talked to Toyota driver Christopher Bell on this show a couple months back, also actually back in April. And no surprise, he also voiced his support for increasing the horsepower. Denny Hamlin's second point about shifting. I don't know anything about that. I have no idea how you fix that. I don't know if it's an easy fix, if it would take time, or if fixing it would cause problems elsewhere on the car. Honestly, I'm just going to skip that point because I don't know anything about it. I'm not an engineer. I'm not that smart. But his third point about the tires, creating tires that actually wear out. To Goodyear's credit, they have tried different tire combinations this year. They debuted an all-new tire combination at New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, and I've never seen the racing groove that wide there. It seemed to be a step in the right direction. They could always go further, but it is important to note that Goodyear will almost certainly err on the side of caution. They will typically lean more conservative because it's their brand on the line. Goodyear would rather us complain about their tires not wearing out as opposed to us complaining that they're wearing out too much and blowing out. So Goodyear is motivated to be cautious. But that being said, give them their credit. They have experimented this year, and I think they made the racing at New Hampshire at least a tiny bit better with that new tire combination. I'm disappointed that the new splitter test did not seemingly go at all according to plan, no doubt. But kind of to Denny Hamlin's point, other drivers, other engineers I've seen have made this same point. When we're talking about short tracks with lower speeds, aero matters, but it doesn't matter nearly as much as it does on bigger tracks. On short tracks, horsepower is the key. And at this point, I just wonder what the holdup is. You know, the reason these engines are choked off at 670 horsepower, number one, the first reason NASCAR gave was that 670 horsepower is more attractive to new manufacturers. If you're a Dodge or a Honda or who knows who, NASCAR believes 670 is a number that they'd be willing to work with. We're almost 2 years into the next gen car. We're really more than 3-4 years into the next gen's development. And no new manufacturers are on the horizon, as far as I know. Dodge maybe briefly was, but they've dropped out. So lower horsepower has, at least so far, not attracted any new manufacturers. I think NASCAR's second point was that lowering the horsepower numbers would save the teams and manufacturers money. The engines wouldn't wear out as quickly. And that makes sense, but I referenced those comments from Doug Yates just a few months ago where he said it really wouldn't cost much to increase the horsepower by 80 to 100. So, are we really saving the teams much money? At this point, I don't understand why NASCAR doesn't just bite the bullet and pull that lever. They've tried every other lever. They've tried this lifted splitter. They've tried removing parts of the underwing. They've removed parts of the rear diffuser. They've changed the height of the rear spoiler. They've changed tire combinations. At some point, just pull that lever. Add some horsepower. You don't have to add 200 horsepower. We don't need to have 900, 950 horsepower engines, although at short tracks that might be pretty cool. Get back to 750. That's where we were before the next gen car. I don't think it'd be that hard to get back there, but obviously I don't know for sure. I'm just reading quotes from actual engine builders who I believe probably know what they're talking about. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out of today's test. Maybe they hit on something with removing the diffuser and changing the spoiler height. Maybe they hit on something today. Who knows? But that up-down lifted splitter, whatever they were calling it, appears to be a failure at this point, or at least back to the drawing board. Time to make some more tweaks before the next test, which I guess may come this offseason, hopefully in time for 2024. But that's going to do it for this episode, y'all. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of everything we discussed in this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel and you love all things NASCAR. And thank you to my Patreon supporters for your very generous support. Really means the world to me. Elephant in the room, or lack of elephant in the room, I guess. You may have noticed my background is empty. Moving, once again, talked about it a couple weeks ago. I do move around quite a bit. Not as much as I used to. I used to move a lot when I was in college, in different dorms, different apartments, moving back home with my parents, back and forth. It was busy. I was moving a lot. We're throwing it back again, moving once again. But I'll actually be in Michigan for the next few days. I'll be at the SRX race, and then I'll be at the Michigan International Speedway weekend. So hope to see a bunch of y'all out there. I'll see you again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. Thanks for watching.